The purpose of our study was to examine the relationship between the frequency of AI use for academic assignments and imposter feelings among college-level students. The rationale for our hypothesis was that considering the previous studies examining the existence of imposter syndrome among university-level students, that the reliance of AI tools available today would create a similar level of imposter feelings among college-level students if their dependence on these tools was high enough. It's important to point out that the majority of previous studies done on imposter syndrome in the academic world was mostly centered around medical students and focused on their perceived ability to perform at a high level in careers that had life or death implications. Our study examines imposter syndrome from a purely academic perspective, and it analyzes its potential relationship with AI usage, something not really found in studies to date. Our hypothesis was that as the frequency of artificial intelligence use increases, imposter feelings would also increase.
Hi, my name is Jania. I will be presenting the methods section. The way we conducted our study was through a convenient sampling, where we utilized a volunteering and anonymous survey, where participants were asked a demographic questionnaire that measured the frequency of AI tool usage, and also a self-reported survey using the Likert type scale. The study examined the relationship between the frequency of AI usage and imposter syndrome among college students. A total of 25 psychology students from San Bernardino College participated in the study. The sample included participants from diverse gender identities, being 1 male, 23 females, and 1 participant who preferred not to answer. For the ethnic backgrounds that were reported was as follow, which was 12 Hispanic Latinos, 5 white Europeans, 5 Black or African Americans, 1 Asian, 1 Filipino, and 1 mix. Ages ranging from 17 to 40 years old. This procedure was also done by analyzing data using a Pearson correlation to determine whether a relationship existed between AI usage and imposter feeling. This survey was also conducted where all students of psychology during the spring semester at San Bernardino College. And then overall, this methodology allowed researchers to explore how often students use AI tools and whether that usage might be associated with increased or decreased imposter syndrome experiences.
My name is Sherilyn Coops, and I'm going to be going over our results section. For this study, we tested whether increased use of artificial intelligence was associated with higher levels of imposter feelings among college students. However, our hypothesis was not supported. A Pearson correlation analysis showed no significant relationship between AI use and imposter syndrome, with a correlation coefficient of -0.22. This indicates a weak negative association, meaning that as AI use increased, imposter feelings slightly decreased. But this relationship was not statistically meaningful. Additionally, the effect size was small, with an R-squared value of 0.05, suggesting that only about 5% of the variance in AI use can be explained by imposter feelings. Table 1 summarizes the descriptive statistics, including the means and the standard deviations for each variable, as well as Cronbach's alpha of 0.90, indicating strong reliability for the measures used. So for this slide, we further examine the data, distribution, and assumptions. First, the imposter syndrome scale demonstrated strong internal consistency with a Cronbach's alpha of 0.804. The scatter plot shows no clear linear relationship between AI use and imposter feelings, which supports the earlier finding of a non-significant correlation. There is also no clear pattern indicating homeostaticity. Looking at the histograms, both variables deviate from a normal distribution. AI frequency appears positively skewed, while imposter syndrome shows slight skewedness. Using a cutoff of 3.5 standard deviation, one outlier was identified, but it was retained in the analysis. Finally, there was no missing data reported in this study.
Hi, my name is Valerie. Today I'll be presenting the discussion portion of our presentation. It was hypothesized that higher frequency of AI use would be associated with greater imposter feelings. However, the results did not support this hypothesis. An explanation for this would be that imposter syndrome has been identified as a multi-dimensional construct influenced by factors such as anxiety, self-doubt, and external validation, which may explain the lack of a direct relationship between AI use and imposter feelings, implying that AI use alone may not be a significant predictor of imposter syndrome. The limitations for this study included a small sample size, which limited statistical power and reduced the likelihood of detecting a significant relationship, and the measurement of AI frequency, which may not have fully captured the complexity of how students engage with AI tools. A future direction could examine additional variables that may better predict imposter feelings, including academic performance, motivation, anxiety, and self-efficiency. Further studies should also explore different types of AI use and the context in which those tools are used for. These are references that we used for our study. Thank you for listening.